we got to do it. We finally got to do it. We have to talk about Siege. Contrary to popular belief, I am not a Siege hater. Okay, well, maybe I have been a little bit, but I have run Siege before. I've run some pretty high-level Siege, and we have to talk about what its role is in the game, why it works, because Siege is very effective, not by itself, but when it comes to certain fights and what you can do, it is extremely effective. We're going to talk about all of it, and we're going to talk about no matter what kind of player you are, you have to have a Siege March, or it would be good to have one, and we'll talk about why right now. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I put out videos all the time. And when I do, I always love to give you as much information as possible to give you real rock life experience. That's what I do. And we have grown the channel so much, so if you would be so kind, be sure to subscribe, hit the alert button. It doesn't cost you anything. You get alerts when I put up content. And this is a piece of content that people have asked me about for a long time. Chadsky, when are you doing a Siege video? Chadsky, when do us Siege players get to actually enjoy some of the content? And this is the video. I have been a player that is very much a Vanguard type player. I am at the front of the ball. I am doing massive damage. I'm running it down. I run all the best stuff. I run all the best marches. That's what I do. However, I have dabbled a little bit with the Siege stuff, and I can dabble a little bit more. I have done things with Siege. I have done things to understand the value of Siege. Now, first and foremost, you have to understand that when you fight in a KVK and you're going back and forth fighting, and it's just massive territory fighting, murder ball fighting, those types of things, and if you open a zone, or if you get into Kingsland for the first time and your marches are running all over the field, you're running to the ball, you're getting into the ball, you're running it down, you come back to your city, you run it out again, and it's a very fluid situation, then your Siege marches aren't ideal. Do not use them when you're opening a zone. Bad, bad, bad. When you're going on special missions where you're going to go drop a fort, don't use a Siege march, y'all, unless you can get it there and get it on the fort. But if you're going someplace and have to hit quickly, you can't use Siege. If you're going to burn a flag or burn a fort, you really can't use Siege that much. However, when you are holding the line in territory fighting, this is the best time I say to use Siege. I'm going to show you here. Now, this is from like a handful of months ago, but I'm going to show you here what we're doing. Now, what you're seeing here, this is in 2293, okay? This is back when I was fighting there. You can see I'm running my 7 marches out front. I actually ran some Siege in this KVK, but you see all the Siege marches on the left. Well, we have the merge right here in the middle. And when you put all these Siege marches here behind your murder ball, it basically doubles the size of your murder ball. You do so much damage to the enemy that you can hold the line much, much easier. All these Siege marches just start firing away and you can hold the line. So with that, Siege has a critical role. It's great to use Siege. It has a critical place to help you hold territory, to help you hold a line, to help you when you're field fighting and you're running it down. Look at this. We're holding this line. They got more players than we do. It doesn't matter. We got more Siege. You can kind of see how Siege works. And honestly, when we have Siege on my side, and I'm fighting in the Vanguard, I love it because we can hold just about any ball. And the opposite of that is if the other side has Siege, it is so hard to penetrate through their ball, even if we have more marches than they do. And we'll even call it, everybody, run in as fast as you can go. Let's push their ball. We start to push it and their Siege starts taking over. So there is a serious effectiveness to Siege. That cannot be ignored. Okay. And so from that standpoint, I fight a different style. I fight full throttle. I have an insane amount of kill points. I go full throttle, big spender, as high as you want to go. With that, I would rather send out 7 marches out of my city, okay? I'd rather send out 7 marches out of my city and go get as much KP as possible, go affect the battlefield as much as possible. And I can't do it better any other way than running 5, 6, and 7 marches and running it full throttle, and then running it down back to the city, run it back out. That is the fastest way to get kill points, and it's the best way that I can help my alliance or my kingdom. However, not everybody fights like me. Okay, some people are fighting in this game, and a lot of you free-to-plays, a lot of you smaller spenders, mid-spenders, you can't just go run it down all the time. So you got to be very efficient with your fighting. You got to make sure that the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 marches you use aren't getting just run down every time. Well, a great way to do that is to include a siege march. And just like we see here, all these people on the left firing off these Gajamatas and stuff, they are effectively helping the murder ball in a very sophisticated way. Now, a siege march gets massive kill points. The only difference is it takes a long time. A siege march at any time can go get 3, 4, 5 million kill points off of one march, but that's generally taking about 10 to 15 minutes a time. And in 10 to 15 minutes a time, I can run out marches 3 and 4 times and get 3 million kill points each time. So I'm gonna do more kill points if I run my Vanguard and do it how I do it. However, so many people can run this, and I've done it before. Like, to show you guys that I am completely non-discriminatory against siege, I have run it. Let me show you this. When I went into this KVK, I put this thing up. Look what I did on this stuff. I got this kind of report on my Gajamata and Cordoba. And I didn't have like the most insane type of gear and stuff. And that's the beauty with siege. This is what people have to understand about siege, because anybody can run siege. Here's the deal. When we train troops every day, when you train troops, you've got the siege workshop over here, and you're already training the siege. Well, just go. There are so many players I know that don't have a siege march that have 2 and 3 and 400,000 T5 siege or T4 siege. Well, you might as well use it, not just to fill a structure and send them to die. You could do that, but just go get a couple of commanders, throw some gear together, and create a siege march, because you will run out of troops in KVK. No matter how many troops you have, you will run out of troops. And when you do, boom, go to your siege march, because your siege marches are never going to die. You're not going to send them to die. You're not swarming with them. You're not filling garrisons with them. You're not filling rallies with them. They never die. And so you can go train 3 or 4 or 500,000 siege, and then you can run one march, and when it finally dies, or when you finally refresh, go heal your hospital, go run it again. It's really pretty easy, and it's simple. And so this is my encouragement to players, especially new players in the game, especially lower spenders. You can do some damage with siege. And so the best 2 commanders I've seen are Gajamata and Cordoba. That's what all the siege people will tell you. These 2 guys are the absolute best. You run Cordoba secondary and you run Gajamata primary. Gajamata does quote unquote range smite damage. Okay, so now you can use the hero's hilt, or I'm sorry, now you can use the accessory. I forgot what it was called. The hero's hilt's actually for combo, but the accessory that we have for siege is the Saddle of 1,000 Blessings. This is awful for smite commanders in the field that play Vanguard, play melee like I do. But this is great for siege. You can run this. There's all kinds of different things that you can do. But when it comes to siege, Gajamata runs that smite, which means he's got really good damage when it comes to range. Cordoba, same type of deal, but you deal range smite to up to 3 enemy targets. That's a big damage factor. Okay, so you want to run these 2 at distance. You don't want to run them really, really close. However, if they come hit you in a melee range, it's just not going to get completely obliterated. Gajamata has so much health. There's so many different aspects to their kits that it's actually really, really good and they debuff. They do all kinds of stuff. It's actually really, really good to run these guys. But if you don't have the heads to put into these guys, you can get them on the dailies. You can get the wheel. A lot of people will tell you a 5-5-1-1 Gajamata works really well, and a 5-5-5-1 Cordoba works really well. So there's all kinds of different ways you can easily invest. But to start the game, you can run Catherine, and you could run this gear. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but everybody in the game can run this right here. Every single person in the game, no matter your spin level, everybody can run this. Okay, overall, your siege stats, 11% attack, 26% defense, 7% health. Not much. Basically what it is gathering gear, but it gives you some siege stats. Look at this. And it's not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful. But if you don't want to spend materials and blueprints that are epic, you can run this stuff. Now, if you do want to spend a little bit of materials to put the epic set together, then you can really start crushing. But this is the entry level set. And if you have her max with Narcissus, you can actually do some damage. Now, we have two new ones in K2 that have come out. Akamitas and, where's she at? Bloody Mary, Mary the First. Okay, these are K2 commanders. They are not like in-game meta as good as Gajamata and Cordoba or the new commander that just came out. We'll talk about him in a second. So anybody can run these two epic commanders really easy. Okay, and their skills are not amazing, but they're not awful, and you can actually do some things to help your murder ball out, especially if you're a lower spender. If you can put some skills on these guys with Gajamata and Cordoba, they really, really help out. They help your murder ball just like we showed, and I'm telling you, it helps your team win. Now, Siege can't go do it alone. You have to have the melee. You have to have the Vanguard, and those are for players like me, but they're great accessories to your murder ball. It's great. Like murder balls can last forever with less marches than the enemy if you have a bunch of siege helping you behind. And that's really how war is supposed to work. So with that, you can make this, you can contribute to your alliance or your kingdom. And I'm just telling you as a player that doesn't have much experience with Siege, I've got a little bit, but not much. And I'll just tell you, make this, go run it, put your Siege out there, especially at the end of KVKs or you get into past 7, you get into Kingsland, you're running out of troops and you can't quite put 4 or 5 or 6 marches on the field, then you can put a Siege march on the field. You can even run it with T4 and it's not awful. Now, the beauty with Siege is that if nobody hits you, you're gonna trade well. You just are. You can see it here. All of these Siege towers are just firing away. And they're just getting good damage. They're laying out active skills. They're getting great trades. And it doesn't matter what the gear is. And honestly, it doesn't matter if they're expertise or not. They're just getting good trades. And so with that, it is a great situation to be in when you can actually get kill points out of a 5th march or a 4th march, or get kill points out of a 3rd march if you've already run out of troops on your other melee marches or your vanguard marches, I'll call them, your field marches. And so do not be opposed to using Siege. I'm making the claim now. Y'all were right. I'm not going to say I was wrong. I just don't like Siege. I've just never liked it. However, I do respect it. I respect the use of it. And being a Vanguard player, I know how valuable it can be. Now, I showed you that report that I had, and I'll show you the gear that I ran on it. And it's not, the gear is not insane, but I had these 2 commanders maxed. And I was like, well, what the hell? I'll just go out there and run it. I had a couple of different reports on this, and the gear I ran was not like crazy insane, all like, you know, legendary status type gear, but it wasn't awful. This is what I ran. I had a bunch of these blueprints lying around for the epic set. I ran this, and the beauty with Siege is you can just put a ring and a horn on it and be fine. Ring horn works great for anything. Like, you don't have to go forge the plume. You don't have to go forge the saddle of 1,000 blessings. You don't have to forge legendary stuff. You can just put the ring and the horn that you were going to run on your extra march. You can just run it for your Siege. Anybody can run a Siege march, and everybody should have at least one. At least one. And one of the beauties of the siege marches is that when you get into the epic stuff, if you're going to forge epic siege stuff, this is what people have to understand. The epic siege stuff has crazy amounts of stats, like a lot of stats, a lot. And so when you go in here and you look at some of this, it's got a lot of stats. You're able to do some cool things. It's always going to give you really good defense and health. It's going to give you march speed. It is really, really good with some of this stuff that you can get with your siege marches. It's great. And so with all that being said, even the arrow, the nice bow that you've got right here, the bow and arrow, it's got great siege unit march speed. And in addition to that, dude, when you come over here and look at the talents in the siege tree, like, it's wild how many stats you can get, how fast you can make your siege. 15% march speed? What? Are you kidding me? It is crazy. You never get this. That's on the arrow towers. But this kind of shows you all the different things that siege gives you. And you go in here and it works out really, really well when it comes to being able to put stats for your siege on your siege march. And so you saw the gear I had. Now, since I've dismantled it, I needed it for something else, but I always kept my super budget gear, because I can go put a ring and horn on this, and I can go put T5 siege in there, and I can go run it. And with the armaments, it's really easy, as everybody is getting all these different armaments, all of them. Like, look at all the common and rare inscriptions I have that I don't even run. Like, I could put this on siege right now and go run it. I can put that on siege, go re-roll it for siege stats. Like, you can go do things with siege that are really easy. Those of you who collect a lot of rares, I've got rares here I'm not even using. I got rares over here I'm not even using. Look at all these. Like, I'm totally gonna move these over to siege and create another epic geared siege march. Anybody can do it. It's really, really pretty simple. And in addition to that, the game loves siege, okay? They love it too much. They love it so much it kind of pisses me off, because they keep putting out commanders like crazy for engineering, and it drives me crazy. Here's our next guy, Alfonso Diabakake, okay? This dude is the next siege commander. Now, if talking to Mr. Siege and all these other people that are out there that create content, J Tower and some of these guys, they'll tell you that this guy is not necessarily meta, okay? Gajamata and Cordoba is actually probably better, but we'll test this guy and see. There's Matthias, but this is all the skills of our boy Alfonso, okay? And so from there, we've got some more opportunities with siege, but I'm just telling you, Gajamata Cordoba, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. You can even use the epic commanders. You have a role for siege, especially in big murder ball fights, especially in bridge fights. When you see this stuff and you get into it, that's where you want to use your siege. It helps you hold the line. It helps your Vanguard players hold off more numbers. It does really well when you get to a bridge or you get to a little crevice or pass area where people all have to shuffle through one area. You set up your siege and let them go to work, and it really, really works. And so from there, they serve a role. Yes, I'm saying it now. Everybody should have at least one siege march. It doesn't have to be your best march. Don't waste legendary materials on it. Just make epic gear with it, and you can use the epic commanders, and then you can even use budget Gajamata and Cordoba 5511 and just go let it cook, okay? Because the bottom line is, it doesn't matter if you're hitting or not. You're going to trade positive unless you get swarmed down. And even if you've got meta gear and you get swarmed down, even if you've got meta gear and get swarmed down, you're going to trade bad. So it doesn't matter if you got meta gear or if you don't, or meta gear or if you just have this gear. It doesn't matter. If you get swarmed down, you're going to trade bad. That's just the way it is. And so there's nothing to lose, and it helps you because everybody's going to have siege. So now you have a use for your siege troops. If y'all enjoyed this video, that's my siege video. Like it or not, take with it what you want, but that's my charge to everybody. You can go get a siege march. You can go look up some of these other content creators. Mr. Siege is a good one to look up. They are great guides, great people to look at if you really want to refine your siege march, but I'm just going to do it real easy. The easy way to do it, go get the epic commanders, Go make this gear, put a ring and a horn on it, and just see what it does. And then if you really want to invest a little bit of run the wheel and stuff like that, or you want to put some of this guy in any of these events that we can get some heads, or you want to run the wheel on Cordoba, just go get them 5511 and then go make some epic gear and watch what it does. You really help out your murder ball, especially when you're running out of troops. So if you enjoyed the video, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything. And I hope and pray that this now gets me out of being identified as a Siege hater. I don't hate it. I'm not saying I love it. I don't hate it. And I've given you your love and your prop, Siege players. You help. I have to admit it. You help. And with that, I hope everybody has a great day, broskies.